that was on Colt Eastwood's show last night, because someone DM'd me. And do me a favor, chat. I haven't listened to the show. It's what I'm going to listen to it later. That it was mentioned that there might be some new Halo information. Like what? Like okay,
I watched it, Boom. I can
okay.
speak to it if you want to hear a bit about it.
Please, you know what? Let's transition to that, because I think that is a conversation I want to have. I am a Halo guy. I have been since we can play Halo on the OG Xbox. My brother and I used to train literally with other gamers to play Halo multiplayer. I'm not a tournament guy, but my favorite experience in Halo was Halo 3 by leaps and bounds. And I got to tell you, folks, that has changed. Halo Infinite, for me personally, has become tip of the spear. I have almost 22 days in Halo, and I am wrecking MFs on a regular basis, 20 kills almost every match. That's how much I play of it. Am I a professional? Absolutely not. But I am, for an old bastard, pretty damn good. And I love it. And listen, if there's one major criticism that I have for 343 and how Halo Infinite was handled, there was no continuation of the story. We don't know what happened to Locke. We don't know what happened to Team Osiris and Bucky. And Buck and the rest of them. There's so many unanswered questions that could have come the way of DLC. We know we're not getting it. We were expecting the Flood. Nothing. We got nothing on that. They're on Halo Zeta, right? If you know anything about the books, that's where they created the Flood. Why aren't we telling those stories? I have no idea. But, and we're going to go to Ember first on this, let's talk about what they said on Colt Eastwood's show last night.
So 100% agree with you on all of that. I want to say they dropped the ball. They did drop the ball, right? It's very clear.
Yeah.
Because there's too much story potential with Zeta Halo and all of that, and the lore behind everything. It is way too much that they're not touching on, or at least so we think. So what Colt and Mag, I don't want to say Mag too much, because poor Mag. Shout out to our brother Mag. Mag I feel like he got a bit of PTSD, because he had been abused and abused by some people so badly because of what he put out there to viewers on past things that he has contacts about, and it has changed that, man. So when they were talking about the Halo situation, he didn't even speak on it. Like Colt came to him and was like, yeah, such and such and such, and Mag was just sitting there like, well, he didn't want to talk. I got to reach out to the brother. I hope he's good. But some of the folks in the community, I don't want to say our community, some of them are in our community, unfortunately. They've been unkind to him. But from what Colt spoke on, which had me super excited, and it's something we had heard already, guys, if you didn't know, the whole Unreal Engine thing, which I'm a big proponent of.
I think it's your middle name in real life. Like it's Infinite UE5 Umbra.
Infinite Unreal Umbra. Like maybe I should go get that legally changed to that. Yeah. I feel like they need to, drop me a sponsorship or something. But I will say, man, we had heard these rumors before that with certain affinity that they were working on something that's possibly we heard two things. One was campaign related, possibly. And then we heard, oh no, it'll be a battle royale, right? Then all of a sudden we're hearing, well, nope, that project is over with. And I thought that was so odd. It's like you put all that money into that, it had to be millions, and you're just like, we're not going to go through with it. When the community is clamoring for more when it comes to story-based situations with Halo, I thought that was odd. So now hearing this, it reignites that thought that they never stopped. They never stopped with what they were doing. We heard that they were working with Unreal Engine before. So Colt was saying that the rumor is, or at least from the sources he heard, is that they are moving on, and we might get this. I believe he said as soon as, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember exactly when he said it, but it sounded like he was alluding to either this year or next year, later this year or next year, when we would get this next Halo. So I don't know if how true that is. I hope it's true because, like you, Halo is one of my. I think Halo is my favorite franchise. Actually, not one
Yeah.
of. It is my favorite franchise. So I hope that is true. Roughly, it'll be Unreal Engine 5 that they'll be using, or Unreal Engine at least. I don't know if it'll be 5, since 5 seems to have a lot of troubles with some developers. So we could expect it to be gorgeous. I think. Well, to be fair, I think Infinite is gorgeous in its own right.
I mean, look,
Uh,
Hargeet Chani says, say what you want about the current engine for Halo. I get to play in 120 frames, and yes,
right.
I'll tell you this right now. The TV that I got last year was a 2024 TV. It is a Samsung, tip of the spear. I have never personally owned a TV this good, and I do play. It has all the bells and whistles that you could possibly want, including VRR. And it runs Halo Infinite for me when I'm playing at 120 frames. It's ridiculous how good
Mhm.
that game looks.
It's really great. And I mean, and to be fair, you don't even need 120 frames. Like 60 frames will do you just fine. But hell, hey, if we can get it, why not, right? But I'll say this, like, uh, to me, where there's smoke, there's fire. This rumor just popped back up again. I believe that I'll just say this. I don't know how much is true. I hope it's true. And I will say, because there was a question during Kay's and Neverborn's podcast where they asked, do you guys think this summer event will reignite in quiet? That's right, Hargeet. That's right. But do you think this summer event will reignite the joy and passion in the community and take away from all of this negativity that we've been seeing a lot? And I said, absolutely. If they can have a show as great as they did last year, the little woes and doom and gloom, all of that is out of the window. Nobody's going to care about that anymore. If they can land on what we think they're going to land on, what we're just speaking about with the Call of Duties, and if they dare show Halo in Unreal Engine, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to lose my stuff. So I'm excited for the possibility, but that's all they really touched on. I think Mag, not think, I know from what he was saying. Mag didn't want to, he knew more, he just didn't speak on it. And because again, he had been so abused by people from just giving off the little he did know before. So unfortunately, but I feel like I need to hit him up and hey brother, you think you can drop off a little info to me or something? I don't know. I need to hit him up, but here's hoping. Here's hoping.
I mean, look, any Halo news is good news in my opinion. We've been waiting. Look again. I'm not trying to sell you the game, folks. If you've played Halo multiplayer, there is no better time than to get back to it. It is so fast. It is so good that it's just all I can say is that I want to put another 22 days into this thing. If you look at the games that I play, I have like maybe what 3/4 of the achievement. I think there's like 2,000 achievements what that are available. I think I have like 1,300 or something like that. Listen. I don't play for the achievements. I play for the fact that it is amazing. I have a ton of footage, as you can see, that I'm wrecking dudes. I love losing the hammer, but of course, who doesn't like using the energy sword? I've been murking people left, right, and center to the point where I felt like Jason Voorhees. It was crazy. Um, Listen, before we bring in Crazy Lou Gaming, let me catch up on some super chats. Been quite a few of them. We have Sapo, who's in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you as always. She drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, did you hear that Stalker 2 is targeting both quality and performance modes? Hashtag free Square Enix. Yes, I actually have heard that. And I mean, that game is another Unreal Engine 5 game that's going to melt our faces. Now, if they have a performance mode, that's going to be pretty dope. But again, play how you want to play. If they offer it, great. I'm looking forward to it. And speaking of which, being that you mentioned Stalker 2, if you didn't know, folks, one of the first ginormous giveaways that we're doing in September is, in fact, to celebrate Stalker 2. We are giving away 15 copies at launch. That's right. You heard it. 15 copies that we're buying at full price, $76.43 here in New Rochelle, and we're doing it to actually support the devs. You know, if you know the history of that team, they've been through it. And Mrs. Boom and I are doing like our own little mom and pop way of supporting the dev by buying 15 copies at Full Boat and giving those away. That's going to be our first big one. I believe it's when in September is it? Is it towards the end? I think it's closer to the end of September. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll make an announcement as we get out of the summer. In August, we'll make that announcement of what we're doing. But yeah, 15 copies we're giving away. So thank you so much for the generosity. FBI agent in the chat drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Phil sold us on great exclusives and under-delivered. Brother, I'm not fighting you on that. If that's what you feel, that's what you feel. But all I can say is that the future, I mean, the roadmap is there. The games are there. I think they've delivered. If you don't, I get it. And again, I'm not gonna argue with it. If you as a customer feel like they under-delivered, brother, that is your prerogative. Thank you for the generosity. Thank you for being here as always. Son of Skyrim, who's been a channel member for 8 months. Dude, thank you so much for the support. He says this: if you don't get any news about Shattered Space soon, I'm canceling Game Pass until they do, with a laughing emoji. That's obviously, I think that's going to be an announcement in June. We're not too far away from June. I think they announce it and we get it maybe in September. Again, that's just my thoughts on it. It would be cool to get it sooner, because I got to get back to Skyrim to Starfield. Lieutenant Hulk in the chat drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, for me, Xbox has 3 pillars that makes it great. Hashtag simplicity between any hardware, hashtag convenience with Play Anywhere, and hashtag value, saving money, hashtag Xbox is life, LOL. Nothing wrong with that. I agree with everything. I think that this is, again, from a kid that didn't grow up with a whole lot of money. The thing I love about Xbox, the thing that makes me so passionate about the brand, sure, it's their IP, sure, it's leadership, but from a ground level, and I think that more people need to think about this. Right now in the world, it's not the greatest for a lot of families, and kids want to play games, and some families can't afford to keep buying these games at $70 a pop. What Game Pass does is allow for just about every financial station to be a part of the conversation in gaming. And I think that in itself is magical. No other platform is doing that, and no one honestly talks about that. $17 a month for the Ultimate or $10 for console, you are getting your value worth. And you can, I mean, again, I don't know. Maybe somebody can afford $17 a month. I'm not gonna judge. But out of all of the available platforms that you can play, it's probably the most affordable. So great points all around, Lieutenant Hulk. He drops a second additional $2 super chat and says, "Boom! I'm telling you, set up a community game night, dude. I swear I'm trying. I'm gonna figure it out. It's just." Mrs. Boom is priority when it comes to the evening. So it's very tough. Like if she ever stays over her sisters or goes out with friends, I will, whatever day that is, I'm doing a ginormous 4-hour stream where we can all just hang out and play games. I promise you, Lieutenant Hulk. Crazy Lou Gaming, let's talk about this. What are your thoughts on the potential of getting new Halo news based on what Colt Eastwood had to say on his show? I think we're all in need of good, positive Halo news. What about you, man?
Man, any good news is always positive. Like I said, when you go out there and talk good stuff, good rumors. I mean, I'm always happy to hear about good rumors, not these bad rumors that have been going around. And man, if this is true, Halo is going to Unreal. That means, Boom, that we might get also new content, since they have a lot of issues developing under what they're using right now, that engine they're using, which I forgot the name. What was the name of that Umbra? Since
Slipspace. Yeah.
So that means they can work on new stuff, bring up new content that needs to be brought to Halo, so they can get Halo on the road, which they have been getting on the road, but they're gonna just make it better. Really happy about it. That if that rumor does go through, because we've been how many times have we heard this already? We've been hearing it like a couple of times. I mean, this rumor about them going to Unreal 5. But if it does, man, bring it. That means new content for us, more fun for us. Let's do it. Bring up the good news. Bring up the good rumors. That's what we want.
Yeah, I mean, an Unreal Engine 5 single player story driven Halo. Holy shit. Because I don't think they need to do anything with infinite multiplayer. I just don't. I think it's phenomenal where it is. It looks
Agreed.
good, runs super fast, consistent updating it. Obviously, you've seen by my pictures, you see some of the Spartan outfits that I have. Just legendary stuff. And again, it's the gameplay is so they don't leave that, let them do that what it is. But for a single player story driven experience, and I of course Umber's going to agree, an Unreal Engine 5 Halo sounds great to me. Jamie, let's talk about it, brother. Let's just say for shits and giggles, along with all of the release dates for the games this year, you get State of Decay. Potentially, you're getting a new Doom dropping, right? Some new Doom information and all of that. You get some new Halo news and Unreal Engine 5 Halo news. Yes, sign me up, please. Let's talk about it.
As someone that loves Halo specifically for the campaigns, my hype would go through the roof.
Yeah,
because,
man.
let's be honest, right? We live in an age where multiplayer goes on for years now. It's not like back in like 2010 where a new multiplayer game would come out every year and then the sequel would come out with more multiplayer. We live in an age where multiplayer just continues for years. You have Fortnite, Warzone, and Halo Infinite is basically that. You know, they don't need to do a new Halo multiplayer. They could just continue to expand on what they already have. People love what Halo Infinite is now, and it's taken a while for Halo Infinite to get into shape, but people bloody love that thing now. So all they have to do is put out a single player, and then you have certain affinity. Well, they've said they're working on an Xbox IP, and an established IP. And with the Unreal Engine rumors, like it kind of does line up because even though campaigns they do take a long time to make, like the fact that you'd have an entire team working only on a campaign, and I feel like it's been long enough, and you have like Halo's a big enough IP that they should be coming out with a new game every few years in different genres. First person shooters, third person shooters, RTS games, the list goes on. I think it's time. I think if they do hypothetically come out with anything Halo related this year, it'll just top off the year because you have Avowed, you have Hellblade 2, you have Flight Simulator,
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, and you have the smaller games like Age of Mythology and that coming to console. It's going to be a big year for Microsoft. So along with the Call of Duty marketing, like I'm an optimist, so I'm leaning towards the Halo stuff being real simply because certain Affinity have been working on something for a long time now.
Yep.
We just don't know what. And if it is just look, for me, Halo only has to be a campaign. I don't play multiplayer anymore, not really. And like Halo Infinite, let that continue to grow. The team's already making, content for that. Halo just needs to be a campaign this year. They don't need to pop out a brand new multiplayer that plays differently on a new engine. Like an Unreal Engine 5 Halo campaign, that's all they need to do. And personally, I hope it is a thing because that's like my most anticipated game at the minute is Indiana Jones, but I think Halo would top that.
Just to add to that, I looked at it to make sure again. So allegedly it's a spinoff.
Yes.
It might not be related to the main campaign. So it might be a spinoff, which is even better if they're using a different engine. It should be less of a fuss for people where they're like, well, I was used to this version. It'll be a spinoff. So they'll actually be taking advantage of the greater lore, it sounds like. And it will be Unreal Engine 5.
Yes. Okay. So I'm not breaking any NDAs here. It's out in the ether. So I can confirm that is what I have heard. Even before it was revealed last night. The best thing I can say about what they talked about, because I watched it when everyone was talking, I was looking at it as well, is that it is not expected to be the way I heard it. Again, this is it's out there that it is not. It's separated from it, so it's going to be another story. I don't know the particulars of what that story could be. The only thing that comes to mind for me personally is Halo 3 with Buck. Why am I blanking on the name?
You're thinking of ODST, yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, ODST. I have been saying, and again, folks, I'm going to pitch you on my Halo, right? Xbox, Microsoft, if you're listening, you can get me for cheap. I don't even need the 6 figures. So here, my idea for a Halo project is this, and I don't have the talent to do it, so it's never going to come to fruition. But I'll throw the idea, the $1 million idea out there for everyone. Okay, get ready. Here we go.
I got one too.
All right, well, you know what? We'll talk about it. We'll get into that. My idea for a Halo game that's different than shooty bang bang is to get to go back to Zeta Halo, and where the flood was being created. And if you read the books, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just imagine this for a second. The shit hits the fan, as it does in all horror movies, and you're one of the scientists that are left. Kind of like Alien Isolation, where there is some gunplay, but you're a scientist, and you've radioed to be picked up. A dropship is coming for you, but you got to make it to the end. This could be an 8 or 10 hour, maybe a 12-hour, campaign, and it could be horror based, where obviously there are scientists that are now been taken over by the flood, and you're trying to make it to the end alive. And I'm not saying it's going to be like for instance,
survival horror kind of thing.
Why not? So you find a gun, you get the handgun, you find the pulse rifle, you gotta start the computer to get through this door, and it's dark and it's scary, and you're by yourself, and you run into other people that are still left, and maybe you can help some people on the way to get obviously the more people you find to get evac'd, the better score you're going to get, whatever. But it could be one heck of a story where you make decisions, and the ultimate end goal is, did you help this scientist that was trapped, locked in a locker, or did you leave him to die? And does that particular choice hurt you towards the end? I think it's a brilliant idea. It's something they've never done before, and I will play that.
Would you want it to be single player or multiplayer?
Single player only. Single player only. No multiplayer, no co-op, because then it becomes shooty bang bang. I want a story-driven, horror-based Halo, which, again, if you played Halo 2, that whole flood thing was survival horror. It was awesome.
Halo 1.